Hey, what's up, guys? This is Brian at Whisper Status 74. Welcome to the community. Welcome to the channel. This is the first time you are seeing me. Please consider liking and subscribing. We are real tech for real people. Today will be the last videos where you see the Sony A9s Master Series at 48 inches on the left versus the Sony X950H full array local dimming LED on the right at 49 inches. 48 inches versus 49 inches. Special thank you to Robert and Wendy Zong of Value Electronics for lending me both displays for extended review. I've had the A9s since before its launch and for the last few months, and I had the Sony X950H for about 7 months. I know them both very well. Please check out the description for the link to their store. Special thank you to Robert and Wendy Zong. Please consider making your next AV purchase through them. You'll see a number of demos here. I'm able to do them side by side. We're actually in my kitchen. I'm about to box them up and send them back to Value Electronics. And I love these two panels, spending so much time with them, having the A9s Master Series basically being a mini A9G, and the 950H, which is always approved upon the 900E, the 900F, the 950G. It's the next logical step. What I love about these TVs compared to each other is they are siblings. You should be seeing this in HDR. The fuzziness around the panels, try and focus on the middle of the screen, is the peak brightness of the LED versus the contrast ratio of the Sony Oled. This is there is some light in this room. It's not a completely dark room. They both have excellent shadow detail. It's what the A9G and the A9s are known for. Master Series are calibrated out of the box. There are times where the 950H's peak brightness leap out at you. There's times where they look nearly the same. There's times where the OLED will look dim in comparison. They are both in their custom picture modes. They are literally at the same height in terms of the countertop that they're on, but the A9s has a minimalist, almost touching the counter, where the 950H stands about 2.5 inches off the counter itself. You've seen these two compared, but I figured I'd do them side by side one more time before I send them back. They're both absolutely gorgeous. Again, forgive the noise around the image on some of these scenes, that there is some light in this room. These demos are from LG Global, and the last two are among my favorite demos on all of YouTube. Now, being in HDR, you can see a little bit of haloing around the dark on the 950H. You can see where the brightness helps it, but then hurts it. You can see also where the lack of brightness helps in terms of its depth for the OLED, but also hurts it in turn. There is no perfect panel. If I was going to pick a LED this year, chances are I would go with a larger 950H, probably at 85 inches. Both lack HDMI 2.1. But we're seeing, as the new consoles are here and the problems that the LGs and other Samsungs are having with HDMI 2.1, it's not nearly as important as marketed or advertised. Sony tends to favor shadow detail on their LEDs, so you will see a bit more blooming around brighter images, as opposed to Samsung, which favors black level. You lose shadow detail with black level, it's always going to be a trade-off. If you want to see zero blooming, mini LED, whoa, little hiccup there. I can't edit these as I lose pass-through. This is a torturous scene for LEDs, you'll see in a moment. Remember, we're slightly off angle on the Sony as well. We are to the left of it. But this is where you'll see the black level of the, but you do lose some detail there if you see more detail on the LED. There is that trade-off. The black level hangs in there. You'll see it show up throughout this demo, but it's really whichever you prefer. Now the handling is not nearly as bad as on the camera, but it is there, especially in comparison to the Sony A9s. It's another LG Global. You can see it there. The camera does catch up with it. But very good blacks, only for 20 plus zones that are on the 49-inch 950H. We will finish up with the Liquids demo from HDR channel. Please check out their channel. I will link that description below. Now, some people will say, why compare different technologies? I do find OLED comparisons to be pretty boring. They are very similar, no matter how much difference people will say there are. Having seen them all calibrated next to each other, they're very close, OLEDs. Watching LEDs, people say it's not a fair fight. I would say, honestly, I do miss the peak brightness myself, personally, of LEDs. As much as I love having an OLED as my personal display, I do like the specular highlights of an LED. I am always going to have LED at heart. I'll always favor LEDs just for growing up with LCDs, much like I like plasma. But, you know, it's really whichever you choose to like, whatever you feel is more important to you. I will constantly always get asked, what's the best TV out there? And my answer is always, what's the best TV for you? And that is not just personal taste, that is your environment, your usage, and your budget. So what the best TV for me in a basement with no ambient light is not the best for you in your living room. Again, thank you to Value Electronics, both Robert and Wendy Zahn. I'm sure you can also contact them about these displays once I return them and see if you can also purchase these very displays that I have here. Very kind of them to lend these to me, considering how small our channel is. They're excellent people. These videos are about 10 to 11 minutes long. Sometimes they'll cut me off depending on how much I filmed. I will have a Samsung in here shortly. Unfortunately, I will be bringing these back. I don't have to bring them back. I've just had them too long. I don't like having kept anything. So I won't have the Samsung at the same time as the Sonys, unfortunately, but I will have it compared to the LG CX and the Sony 900E. They both look stunning. And again, being from the same company, I like seeing the colors set the same way. Same settings. Now we'll finish this up with the windows open. There's a big window open to the left. You can see it on the screen. They both still look fantastic. Obviously, the Sony would be better in this environment. It does still reflect. I am going to say goodbye. I'm going to say thank you again for being part of the community and channel. Please consider liking and subscribing. You'll see a new panel in here soon. Talk to you guys soon. Love you guys. We'll let this just run out until it cuts me off, which sometimes cuts me off in mid-sentence. What do you think of these two panels? What I do love is having this kind of quality at this size. The A9s is quite a bit more expensive at the time of this viewing, as OLEDs typically are. All right, guys, take care.